Alex. Alex Rosen is in studio right now. Alex is cracking me up. Alex, say what you just said to me 2 seconds ago when I started playing this music.
That music you just played sounds like my ringtone in 2011.
Alex Rosen, for those that don't know, Predator Poachers is what you're most famous for.
Right.
And I remember, Alex, I've known you for years now. I've known you for 5 years. I can't believe I've known you for that. When I first met you, you were blowing up on social media, and I made a point. I told somebody in our digital department here at this company, there's this young college kid. He plays football at TCU. He's a linebacker. Were you a linebacker?
I played center.
You played football, is the point.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be a pro football player. What he's going to do is going to be something in media. We should hire him. And they said, all right, how old is Alex? I was like, I don't actually know how old he is. I messaged you online. Alex, they want to offer you a job. How old are you? And you're like, I'm 19 or 20 at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you've got to be 21 to work here. By the time you were old enough to work here, you were too good for us. You'd become huge. You had hundreds of thousands of followers. Alex is like Chris Hansen if Chris Hansen was hilarious. Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
People accuse you of being anti-Semitic. Do they know that about you, that you're Jewish?
Well, you can be both, you know. I think they should, but I don't really know or care.
I said a week ago that you were going to be here on the show, and there's a group on Twitter, right-wing Houston Hate Watch or whatever, and all they do is they were very mad. They tagged you, and then they started sending messages to Staples, like as if Staples reads, they're like, they're going to have this guy on the show. And they accused you of violently attacking local public servants.
I know.
I feel like I would have, if that was true, I think I would have known about it. Who did you attack?
I don't really know who I attacked. I attacked pedophiles verbally, but I don't really know any public servants that I attacked. Does Houston even have any public servants? Nobody really serves the public in Houston, so how can I attack one?
No, like politicians. I've seen videos of you getting dragged out of
I got
events.
Attacked. I got attacked.
Right, I've seen you. There's a lot of funny videos of you, like where they're ripping your shirt because you're a big guy.
Right.
You're 6 something?
6'4", yeah.
You're an inch taller than me, and probably 100 pounds heavier. And I don't think I could move you if I had to. And I lift. Did you know I lift?
I could kind of tell now.
You could tell. Thank you, Alex. But anyway, for whatever it's worth, a few quick things. Proud of you.
Thank you.
You're my boy. You're crushing it.
You too.
I called it. A few people I knew were going to be successful. Jesse Kelly, you. I'm sure I could think of somebody else, but I don't know who it is off
All
the
from Houston, right?
I don't. Yeah. This is where I live. But what you have done over the last few years, you've actually put people in prison. That's a big deal, dude. Like people that belong in prison, not just, you didn't frame anybody. This wasn't like some people accuse the gotcha journalists. They say, oh, James O'Keefe's videos are misleading or whatever. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know the details behind his videos, but I know yours aren't.
Yeah, no, we post like 1 hour to 3 hour long interviews, all unredacted. And, we like to tell a story that, look, there's no doubt the person that we're talking to is a pedophile, and there's no doubt he should be in prison. And luckily, a lot of states think the same, and they put a lot of our guys in prison. So I'm very happy about that.
All right, you were just in Kansas City, and not all police forces are created the same, right?
No.
I would think Kansas City would be, for a big city, I wouldn't have expected them to be a town that would be sympathetic to predators. But there's a video of you with evidence of some guy being a pedophile, being a creep, and then the pedophile's right there, and he's admitted on camera, yeah, that's me in the chat rooms. I'm a convicted pedophile. And then the Kansas City police wouldn't arrest the guy.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable. So we had a guy going after who he thought was a 13-year-old boy. He was on parole for child pornography. So he served 10 years of a 13-year sentence. He's on parole right now. He admits to me that he's watched child pornography again very recently, as young as what he called babies in diapers. And he had it on his phone. He admitted he had it on his phone. And the cops roll up. He admits he has it on the phone he has in his hand. And the cops cuff him, and I'm like, oh, good, this is going to be pretty smooth. And then one of the cops pulls me aside, and he's like, since you were acting as an agent of the state, we have to let this guy go. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. So I tell my camera guy, hey, throw me the mic. And then the cops are like, okay, have a good day. And he just walks away. And that's when I just started, screaming at the cops to do their freaking jobs. And, luckily, I think they still took his phone anyway under his consent. But I mean, the guy should be back in jail right now for a parole violation. So I'm waiting on them to do that.
All right, back up for a second. Agent of the state. What does that mean, agent of the state?
Well, basically working under the direction of law enforcement, which I'm not doing. We're totally independent from them. What we did is we gathered evidence of a crime and called the cops. So similar to us filming a robbery, it's no difference if we film somebody admitting they have child porn on their phone and turn that in. And that's exactly what we did. And, you know, most of Missouri agrees with what we do. We have convictions in Pulaski County. We have a lot of arrests in even St. Louis County, surprisingly. But, I mean, Jackson County just needs to get it together.
Have you ever noticed, you've been to Missouri enough, have you ever noticed how they think they're Texas? Like, they think they're Texas.
There's literally a Texas County, Missouri.
Right. They think they're into rodeos and cowboy stuff. It's like, all right, but just be Missouri. You guys, you know, you're not Texas.
Trying to do barbecue, too, and all that.
It's not bad.
No, it's not.
It's the ribs. They do the ribs.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay.
But if you think you're going to get brisket Texas style outside of Texas, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, that's pretty much the case.
And as a Jew during Passover, you must have a lot to say about brisket.
Well, you know, I was just worried about catching pedophiles, so I don't really know when any holiday is.
Isn't it Passover right now? Alex Rosen, you're not a good Jew. Am I allowed to say that as a Catholic?
You could say that, but you know what? There's nothing I would pass over to catch a pedophile. So I mean, or whatever. I got that wrong. I don't even care.
All right. So earlier today, I was looking at Today in History, and today in 1968. Leftist anti-Vietnam War protesters showed up at Columbia College and disrupted classes. And now, here we are, you know, decades later, right? And the liberal media can't help themselves. They have to compare the Palestine activists to the hippie anti-war protesters of the 1960s. The irony being the anti-war protesters are now Republicans. Right? The liberals love war. They're absolutely, there's nothing, these two things do not correlate, do they?
No, it doesn't make any sense because, yeah, I agree. You know, even though I'm a Jew, I don't think we should give a penny to Israel. I think they've done some suspect things. As is Palestine, too. I mean, for all I care, both of them can just get blown up. I mean, you know, I'm not encouraging that, but I'm pro-America. But, you know, it's so weird that those same anti-war protesters for the Israeli war, they were all pro-Ukraine. They like to give billions to Ukraine, but then to Israel, they don't like it, which they shouldn't like either, but they just don't really know how to think for themselves.
Okay, I'm one of these guys that's America first. Yeah, Israel's an ally. I think that there's some extent that we can support them, but there has to be a limit to it, right? It can't be a blank check forever. And by the way, that puts me in the middle. You can't be in the middle. Like, look at Elon Musk. That's the most controversial thing you could be nowadays.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I just think, like, look, I mean, these countries wouldn't bat an eye if a terrorist attack happened on our soil, which they didn't. And, you know, I don't think we should bat an eye if anything happens to them. I mean, we should care about North America. I mean, look, if Canada gets invaded, maybe we should help out a little bit. But, I mean, really, I mean, I'm just pro-America first. That's all.
If Canada gets invaded, we could not do less, in my opinion. I wouldn't. Why waste time on that? This is a prison state. Remember, they put the truck drivers in jail.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it depends who they're going after. I mean, I guess Canada is kind of invaded already by the Cubans, or by the half Cubans, I mean.
Do you believe that Fidel Castro banged Justin Trudeau's mom?
Absolutely.
I could see it.
100%.
They do look alike.
I mean, freaking Pierre Trudeau looks like a Rothschild, and then, you know, Justin Trudeau looks exactly like Fidel does, and all the pictures of Fidel and like his mom just being all buddy-buddy. I mean, you know something's there.
If Canada gets invaded, remember, these are people that put truck drivers in jail. They took people's dogs and children away for disagreeing with the vaccine mandate. Their leader dresses up in blackface. Alex, I think we have to let Canada get invaded.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I've changed my mind.
I don't care about Canada.
Yeah.
All right. So, what country would you defend? Japan? Who would we defend?
God, you know, it's just tough. I think the only country I would defend is the Republic of Texas. I really don't have any other answers.
Are you a secessionist? Should we secede the union?
Not with Greg Abbott in charge, but if we get an actual like patriot in charge, yeah, I would want to secede.
Ken Paxton.
Yeah, I think he's okay for a politician.
Sure, for a public I like Ken, yeah.
Yeah, he seems a little bit more legit than Greg Abbott and Patrick do.
The problem with Abbott is you don't know what you're going to get from 1 month to the next. If it's election time, during the pandemic, he was a liberal.
Yeah.
Lately, he's been very conservative, I think because he's probably hoping to have a cabinet position in Trump's White House. And then Trump is hanging out with Mike Johnson too much now. What happened with Mike?
Well, you know, I just think that I just think it all goes back. I don't think Trump's a trustworthy guy. I think Trump is just as full of crap as the rest of them. I mean, you got to think Trump doubled the national debt. He's the one that pushed the vaccines. And yeah, you could say he didn't force it, but it's good cop, bad cop. I mean, both are the same people. And, they're both all in these secret societies. And so Trump kind of sets up the serve for Biden to enforce the vaccine mandates. It's all the same team. That's why the vaccines came out when Trump was still in office, because he had to get the MAGA people to take the vaccine. And then Biden's the one that's the bad cop that forces it onto people. I think they're in cahoots.
Alex, you're 24.
Yeah.
And you're a Zoomer, technically. Yeah. And you have opinions about vaccines and mandates, and you're all up on politics. When I was in your age, I was just trying to get laid.
Well, you can do both.
According to a new report, exaggerated statements are up by like 1 billion%. And now more of the highest rated show on radio, Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness.
Hey, if you're watching us on social media, stand by, everybody. We're recording segments that are going to air later this afternoon on KPRC 950, so I'm saving right now. But hey, if you don't mind, since I have your attention, share this video. Tell your buds, tag somebody. Follow my buddy Alex on Twitter. He's the man. And stand by. We'll keep going in 1 second here. Once I get more royalty-free music that I can play without upsetting the social media gods. All right, hang on, everybody. We're back from break. I wanted to play Primus as bumper music, Alex, but I can't because YouTube has an algorithm. I'll get flagged if I play music I don't own.
That's right. That's right.
What can we do about that?
You can just talk about like dildos and gay sex, and then YouTube will promote your stuff.
Alex told a totally different joke during commercial break. He said, "I'll just keep repeating my name is Mud." I thought you'd tell that joke again while I set you up for it. I put the ball on the T-ball was all ready to go. And Alex was like, nah, dildo joke instead.
Just got to move on, man. Just got to move on.
Fresh material. Alex, you're very funny. One of the things that makes you different from Chris Hansen, who you get compared to all the time, Chris Hansen was very serious. But your videos usually, I mean, at least they used to be, you would do punchlines, and you were very
right.
And I've noticed your tone's changed a little. Now that you've been doing this for a while, now you do this thing where instead of chasing the guy around with a camera making fun of his Umbro shorts, you socially engineer the guy into admitting on camera that he's a pervert. That didn't happen overnight. You learned that skill, didn't you?
Yeah, 100%. So we started off doing dating apps where it's like a bunch of quick like, hey, I'm horny, I'm down to meet, this and that. And yeah, those people need to be arrested, but they aren't necessarily looking for kids. But we've started to infiltrate like pedo rings and all this stuff. And when they're getting this sick, I mean, there's not really room for jokes as much as there is with like the regular guys just coming to meet. And, when you see how evil these people are, if you don't do anything in your power to get them arrested, then if you leave anything on the table, then it just doesn't sit right. So we have to.
Okay, so when you started doing this a few years ago, it was you and your buddies that you were going to college with. It was your friends.
Right.
And you don't drink, you don't do drugs like a lot of people of your age.
Yeah, zero.
You do this instead. You go out and you punk, and it started making money for you.
Right.
And as you just explained, at first you would get on dating apps and you would talk to people that thought they were talking to a teenager.
Right.
But now you figured out on the dark web, there's a place where pedophiles go, like chat rooms or something.
Yeah, we have so many apps, chat rooms, and we hit them from different angles too. We're not always posing as a kid either. Sometimes we pose like another pedo. Sometimes we pose as a mom. Like just recently in Alabama, we had the sex offender on the hook who wanted to babysit an 8-year-old kid, and we were posing as the mom of that 8-year-old kid. So we approach him in person when he thinks he's going to meet the mom, and he admits to 1,200 images of child pornography. And right now he's sitting in a Coleman County, Alabama jail. So we got our ways.
How many people would you say you've sent to prison?
Sent to prison, I would say about 100, give or take, in 39 different states.
100?
I think so.
Alex, you sent 100 people to prison.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry that one of them's going to get out and find you? Or
well, most of them are on our tax dollars via disability. So, I mean, how are they going to travel to Houston?
Wait, that's actually one of the funniest things I've heard anybody say in a long time, and I wonder if that joke went over people's head. They're pretending to be disabled.
Right, 100%.
Alex, your jokes work on more than one level. I mean, I know you're funny, but do you know That was really genuinely hilarious. That was like a brilliant joke that you just told.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just kind of say things, you know, like.
Right. Well, there's a thing nowadays where if you have ADHD, you qualify for a check from the government. Back in 2012, you were a teenager, you were a child at the time.
Yeah, 12 years old.
Mitt Romney couldn't be president because there was a secret video recording of him saying 52% of Americans get welfare or some kind of a public handout.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that statement is it was true, right? So what was wrong with him saying it?
Wait, so Mitt Romney actually criticized the government?
I know it's hard to believe, right? He was the Republican candidate, and he was the best hope we had at the time. I don't know.
I guess so.
I was foolish enough to have voted for Ron Paul, but like you just pointed out, people could get on welfare for anything, including, I mean, I don't know, pedophilia. Do they get?
Dude, we've had people claim they're on it for anxiety and just anything. I mean, their back hurts, but they're standing up fine. I mean, just a bunch of crazy stuff. And we've caught crippled predators who actually have jobs. So, I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. I mean, they give welfare to anybody, even if you have a felony warrant out for your arrest.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Even if you have a felony warrant out for your arrest, the government will keep. Why?
Yes, let me tell you this. So in 2022 in Devine, Texas, we caught a guy named Charles Pelfrey coming to meet a 13-year-old, admits to all of it. He doesn't get arrested on the spot, but they put out a warrant for his arrest a few days later. And he bolts to West Virginia, where he's originally from, to get away from the warrant. And now, a few months ago, we tracked him down in West Virginia, found his address, and we confronted him again. And he got arrested on the warrant from Texas from 2 years ago. And he was in Section 8 housing, getting $1,000 a month from the government while he had a warrant out from our first catch of his. So it's crazy how they just get on this crap without any background.
Alex, this is a book. This is a book. Do you understand how much money we spend? COVID happened, and we were giving money to terrorists. Prison inmates were getting COVID checks in the mail. Third world countries were getting money to fund abortions in Bangladesh or whatever.
Right.
But I don't think anybody picked up on what you just pointed out, that we give money to child molesters.
Oh, 100%, like indiscriminately too. I mean, so many of them are on our tax dollars. It pisses me off.
It pisses me off too. What do we do about it?
God, I mean, I would say, the obvious answer in 2016 would be, just vote for Trump. He'll fix everything. But right now, I don't know.
Do you ever feel like we live in two different countries? Like, I follow the Houston Chronicle on social media, so I read the comments.
Sorry about that.
They're like, well, I have to for what this is a news radio station in Houston, so I read the comments, and they're talking about Governor Abbott says you shouldn't be able to cross-dress if you're a kindergarten teacher. And then you read the comments, and all these people are, oh, Greg, why don't you worry about a real problem? It's like, well, like school shootings. It's like, all right, well, hang on a minute. There are way more news stories about teachers having sex with kids than there are school shootings. And believe me, I'm against both.
Right.
I don't want kids to get raped. I don't want kids to get shot. But we can count all the recent school shootings on one hand. I can't count all the news stories. You go to TexasScorecard.com, where they actually publish reports about all the predators that work in our public school system. It's like, okay, so those people don't see what we see. You and I are on conservative media. We're on Twitter. We follow libs of TikTok. And we see all these insane videos of a 45-year-old, 50, 60-year-old man in a thong twerking in front of an 11-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old at Drag Queen Story Hour. How is it that we see this stuff? We know it exists. We know it happens all the time. We know there's public school teachers that are having sex with kids. There's news stories about it all the time. And yet, for some reason, in a city as liberal as Houston, somebody with an office down the street from here doesn't know any of that.
Well, I mean, I just think a lot of people are just sick of the news at this point. I mean, just very tuned out of all of it. I mean, I just think it's a lot of the repeat stuff over and over again from both sides. I just think people tune out and really just don't care anymore. And on top of that, our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. So, I mean, you bring up school shootings, and it took me a while to kind of remember one. Like, everything's just so fast now. Like, people just don't really care anymore.
What is the cutoff for Zoomers? Zoomers are what, like 28 and younger? Or 27 and younger?
Oh, I don't even know.
So are you an older Zoomer, or are you just in the middle of that?
I guess I'm an older one. I don't know.
Because I'm a wise elder millennial. And I am now that I'm recently divorced. I'm now dating girls that are a little older than you. They're 28. You're in your mid-20s.
Right.
Women in their late 20s. That seems to be who I'm dating lately. What can you tell me about them, Alex? What am I not? Because I can't listen to a Taylor Swift album.
Well, I mean, God, I'm just going to say that they're all just insane. I mean, even the 40-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, they're just not mentally stable. And, I like women, but I don't know. Just God bless them in 2024. They need help. They
say that guys your age are skewing more conservative now.
Yeah.
And I get why. right? 40, 50 years ago, you had the Vietnam War going on.
Right.
And men your age were being told, pack up your stuff, you're going to go fight commies. And amazingly, shockingly, this pushed young men to the left.
Right.
Today, we're lining up all the young men, and we're telling them, you're white, you're racist, you're sexist, you're homophobic, you're the reason all the problems exist in the world. Oh, by the way, you just graduated from high school or college, you're drowning in debt, you've never had a job before, you own nothing, but we're blaming you for the world's problems. And shockingly, these guys are ending up being conservative and right-wing. Why don't we see that happening with women your age?
Well, because, you know, obviously society still ran by men because all the people pulling the strings are still the men, but it looks like it's ran by women. Like a lot of, I mean, everything kind of just caters to them. So when you have the powers that be saying, oh, because you're a woman, you can get this or that, or, you know, just preaching empowerment, even though it's not empowering, just preaching empowerment, this or that, why would the woman want to go against that? Because it's kind of skewed in their favor, like with, you know, the divorce laws and all that type of stuff.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Yes. So that's kind of why, you know, so why would they want to change the status quo when that illusion is so good to them, them being in charge? And, you know, with the men, it builds a lot of distrust and disgruntledness because men just want to be men and just go out and do things and just say things. And, you know, when they see what one side's saying, yeah, you can just say it, don't care about what anybody else thinks, they'll lean towards that side.
All right, are you going to be over at Rice University today with the protesters?
For my own security, because I'm very scared of liberal protesters. For my own security, I'll say I'll absolutely be at Rice very soon and get ready for me.
I think that this audience on KPRC, you're fine. Although apparently some people listen just to get us into trouble.
I know, Hate Watch.
And they will complain that you were here today. Do you want to say anything to them?
Hate Watch, I love you so much. God, just the amount of emotions that ran through my body when I saw that y'all called me racist and homophobic. I mean, I was like, finally, someone writes a non-hit piece about me and tells the truth. Thank you so much.
Well, isn't that kind of weird to be a Jewish guy that they tell you you're anti-Semitic, and yet you protect children for a living? That's what you do. Doesn't that seem like you're not the kind of person they'd be going after?
I know. I mean, I can't believe they call what I do like racist and homophobic. I mean, it just looks bad on them. I mean, keep it coming, I think.
And also, weren't you on a mostly black football team? I mean, that you were the diversity there.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been the only white kid for most of my life everywhere. And, you know, I mean, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Alex, I'm proud of you, buddy. I mean, you're crushing it. You're doing awesome. To those of you watching us on social media right now or listening to us on the radio, follow Alex, please. Alex Rosen. The group's called Predator Poachers.
Yes.
There's different chapters set up around the country now. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of them kind of stopped doing it, but we have a new one called PP Agent Orange. Shout out to him. He's in North Carolina. He's doing a kick-butt job. And yeah, if you want to follow us, rumble.com, Predator Poachers, PREDATOR space POACHERS.
That's a lot of letters.
Yeah.
But just searching for Predator or Alex Rosen. I Fight for Kids on Twitter.
On Twitter. Yeah, you'll find everything from there.
In your experience with censorship on social media, that's the place to be now.
Yeah, I'd say so. Twitter and Rumble.
Rumble is right-wing, and it's just conservatives. Twitter appears to be a little bit of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my lookalikes audience on YouTube. I mean, some of them are liberals. They come over to Rumble, so I mean, it's kind of getting there.
I would think that there's somebody on the left that wants pedophilia to end, right?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of leftist supporters.
I mean, you would think.
Yeah.
I can't believe that 1/3 of the country is pedophiles.
No.
Or sympathetic to pedophiles.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have quite a few leftists that follow. I mean, it's probably 80-20 right-wing, but I mean, the ones that support us, I mean, they don't agree with everything else I say, but they sure like the work we do, and we like it.
They don't like your one-liners. I'm Kenny Webster. I want to thank Alex Rosen for stopping by this afternoon. Predator Poachers is the group. Follow them on social media. Have an awesome day. I love you all. Thanks for listening.
Listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass when you listen.